Someone stole my car. There was an earthquake, a terrible flood, locusts. It wasn't my fault, I swear to God. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be telling you the count them five, top top five pilot excuses. And I was fighting the urge this weekend to use any of those. But first, before I get to all that stuff, oh, that's what everyone always says. But first, hey, like and subscribe. But actually, I was thinking about it, and I got my little flight bag here. And do I have my? Oh, you know what? I don't have it. Okay, I won't do that then. I forgot. I forgot my logbook at home, and then but anyways, when I went out flying on Saturday, I got checked out on a DHC-1 Chipmunk. So that's a little two-seater, former military primary trainer, just a little yellow airplane, and I got checked out in a tail dragger. So that was pretty fun on Saturday, and I was going to update my logbook live here. So technically, there's nothing in my logbook that says, okay, I can do this, but oh well, that's a technicality. Yeah, so it looks like I goofed that one up. Let's get to the top five pilot excuses. Here we go. Oh, and I'm gonna do this cool presentation move here. Let's see how this works out. Okay, and the top five pilot excuses are there we go. Number one, it was a gust. I swear to God, the landing would have been perfect, but just at the last minute, oh, there was a gust. And if you don't know what gusts do for airplanes, let me demonstrate with a KD-12X with special flap. Oh, I gotta retape my flaps here. And here we go. Oh, hey, Nanya. Hey, Shecky. Yeah, so this is what happens if you're coming into land. You and this is what happens when you do an excuse. Let's move this out of the way here. Okay, so you're coming into land. How are we looking here? And so you're coming down to your runway. We'll see. My runway is right about here. So you're coming down to land. Actually, let's land towards the camera. Yeah. So what happens? Usually you're always taking off and landing into the wind. So the wind is going towards the nose of the airplane here. You are the wind, and we are going towards the wind. Yeah. So you come into land, and everything is cool, and maybe you're just about to touch down. You're going kind of slow, and all of a sudden there's a gust, so it gets a little bit windier. And then what that does is it instantly gives your wings a little bit more lift, and it'll just kind of pop you up a bit. But you're going really slow, so you don't want to be up here. You want to be down here. So then you have to adjust, and then whoa! Oh, it wasn't the nice, perfect, smooth landing. But if you get those the big jets and stuff like that, they just kind of slam it down. The gusts don't affect them as much, but they still can. So you'll see some really crazy approaches from some of those jets sometimes on YouTube and places like that. So and yeah, so there's my excuse. So but the thing is, like, what could have, maybe I over controlled and I popped it up like this. Okay. Everyone does that every once in a while. And I popped it up. Oh no, that was the gust that did that. Okay. And then maybe it wasn't the nice perfect landing you wanted. Gust is always the number one. That is the best. Now the other excuses, they're in no particular order, but everyone loves a good gust excuse. When in fact it probably is you lost your, I don't know, you lost your concentration or were distracted for a split second, and whoa, you got to do something else. Okay, we got another one here. Oh, Wrench. Hey, Adam. Wasp in the cockpit there. I'll get to that one later, Adam. Yeah, so number two. I like this because it rhymes. Number one, Gust. Number two, Rust. So it's well, you're actually kind of rusty. Oh, oh yeah, and yeah, my my airspeed is off a little bit, and oh yeah, that landing wasn't as smooth as I wanted, or oh yeah, I forgot my altitude was like this because oh, I'm rusty. I haven't flown in a month. I haven't flown in 6 months. I haven't flown in 2 years. What do you expect? It's like no, you made a mistake, man. So, oh, but I'm rusty. That's my excuse. Ooh, let's see what number three is going to be here. Okay. All right, here we go. So I wasn't sure exactly. I got a cheat sheet written down here. And so it's like something you haven't seen before. So we're going to call this new procedure excuse. New procedure. All right. Procedure. Will I fit that whole thing on here? Procedure. All right. I managed to squish it onto my whiteboard. So the new procedure. Oh, oh yeah. This is like well, you see, we usually where I learned how to fly, we did it differently. You see, it's like no, there's your excuse for it. Like I couldn't handle the airplane. I need more practice. Something like that. But oh no, it's there we go. It's a totally new procedure. I've heard about that. I've never actually done it before. So it's kind of like, yeah, good excuse. And like I say, like I've used all this. You don't want to. Pilots can sometimes have like pretty big egos. Like you don't like taking criticism, or you don't like to be told that you're wrong, or you want to. It's anything that you make a mistake on it. Like some pilots get really, really like defensive, or like, no, I could never be wrong. Like well, you are. So, anyways, oops. But everybody makes their oopses. Oh, come on, marker. Okay. Dollar store marker is biting the dust here. All right. I have no backup black marker. I might have to, I don't know, invest in some. Let's go green. Well, I got some blue. I'll use up a cheap blue marker here. Here we go. Okay, number 4. We're going black to blue. Oh, here we go. There's another one. So the next thing is the poor me. Oh, the poor me excuse. So they'd be like, oh, I didn't get much sleep last night, or today, oh, I'm not used to flying the plane when it's this hot, or oh, it's I was kind of cold because the heater wasn't working in the plane. Oh, oh, poor me. I screwed up. I made my mistake that I probably normally wouldn't do. And like, oh, but, it wasn't really because of me. It was like, there was a good movie on last night and I stayed up too late. But no, you just made a mistake. So there you go. There's your number 4 excuse. Number 5 excuse is no, Adam, not a wasp in the cockpit, but I'll talk about that later. Here we go. So I had a really fun time with this one once with some student. Okay, differ. So the different airplane excuse. Okay, here you go. Number 5, the different airplane excuse. So yeah, that's that's a great one. The funniest example of that was I was checking out this horrible pilot. Okay, he was just bad. I will not mention any names, but yeah, this guy, he was a total space cadet, and it was just like he wanted it. He was learning how to fly at some other airplane, some other flight school that they fly. He was flying the what do you call it? The Diamond Katana, DA-20 Katana, and so he's like, I went flying with him. His altitude's all over the place. He couldn't do it, and this guy had like quite a few hours, and I don't know if he'd gone solo yet. He might have just gone solo at the other place. but he had a ton of hours before he went solo. It was like 50 hours or something like that. This guy was like, ooh, he was all spaced out. I found out later that he actually kind of fried his brain on drugs. So he doesn't fly anymore, anyways, from the last I heard. But yeah, he might have been high when he was like, when I was trying to. Actually, that would explain a lot if he flew like that, if he was stoned showing up. But I didn't detect it at the time. Otherwise, I would have canceled the flight. But I just thought this guy's terrible. And then, so yeah, we were turning to come into land, and he way overshot the runway. Like, just like, okay, the runway's okay, here we go. I'm lined up with the runway here. He's over here, aiming at like a pile of gravel that's like, I don't know, maybe how far off the runway would he be? He'd probably be a good 500 feet off the runway. Like, it just like, and he's aiming at this gravel pile. I'm like, dude, like, runway's over there. We're supposed to be landing over there. And he said, oh, yeah. Well, I would have been able to turn if I was flying a Katana. And I'm like, well, okay, bank us back over here. And then so he went over the runway 500 feet over here. Okay, we're back to the runway. And he just kind of kept going. Now we're on the other side of the runway. It was like a 9,000 foot runway. So it was super long. And I'm like, what's this guy doing? Now, part of it was like, I wanted to take control and just end the lesson there and just like, or something. It was like, or like, he was still flying. It's like he was flying sort of stable, but didn't know where he was going. So I was like, I was kind of intrigued too, because I've never seen someone fly so bad. So I wanted to see how bad it would get before he grabbed the controls. And so we ended up using all 9,000 feet of the runway. He got down and landed it. And I said, okay, that's it. We're done. And then I never flew with him again. And he kind of disappeared here and there. But anyways, yeah, that was I hated flying in the plane with the guy. So I was just like, I don't even care if you kill yourself here. Oh, wait, I'm on board. But yeah, anyways, that was a funny one. And he couldn't line up with the runway because he had a different airplane. Oh, yeah. Couldn't have been, I don't know, those edibles you were on or something showing up there. Yeah. Oh, well, you meet all kinds in aviation. And hopefully the bad ones aren't flying. Most people that are like, you can't really get through to get your pilot's license if you're drunk all the time or high all the time or lazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty lazy around the edges, but I do. I always pride myself of meeting the minimum requirements. So, anyways, yeah, there we go. So let's do a review of the top five pilot excuses. Here we go. And then we'll get to your questions, concerns, and other fun things. Here we go. We got number one. Oh, it was a gust. Boink. Bounce. So no, that wasn't me. And I'm just a little rusty. I haven't flown in fill in the blank amount of time. New procedure. Oh, I'm not used to what? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, you knew about it. You just made a mistake that day. Okay. Oh, I couldn't get any sleep last night. I was tired, and I just like I'm not used to flying when it's this hot outside. The plane doesn't climb the way I wanted it to. Oh, it glides differently when it's cold. It glides further. Oh yeah, that's why I missed that field on the forced approach. And there we go, a different airplane. Oh yeah, oh yes, this is the trim on this plane is all messed up. It's way too sensitive. Oh, the stick is very sensitive. Oh, the yoke is like sloppy. I'm not used to that. So, anyways, and oh, hey, Dustin, welcome to the show. Yeah, so there we go. There's your top five pilot excuses. I have used each and every one of those. And of course, when you're young, once you become a professional, you can't, but when you're just learning, oh, I might be able to get away with it. It's like, no, you can't. The instructors have heard it all. And I'm sure there's all the if you're flying for the big jets and everything, by the time you're like, say if you're a new first officer on I don't know 737 or something like that, and the guy sitting in the left seat or the girl sitting in the left seat, it's got like 10,000 hours. and you botch some landing, like they'll know exactly what you did wrong. You don't even bother at that point. Just be a professional. Be a professional. Say, "Whoops, my bad," and something you got to work on later in the sim. So, yeah, here we go. We're gonna go through. I saw Adam was in here talking about a wasp in the cockpit, which is a great excuse, I must say. Where was that? Yeah, there we go. This is not exactly. We'll call this one excuse number 6. A wasp in the cockpit. I knew one guy that one of my instructors that worked for me. He was coming in. He might have been a student at the time, or I forget. But he was in the plane solo at the time, and he there was like, it gets into the fall, and then all the wasps start getting all kind of ornery, and they start bugging you more and everything, and they get into the cockpit. So if you ever do have it, like that's a very good excuse. Like, it's super distracting when you're coming into land or something, and here's something going to sting your face. Like that's very distracting. Like it's a real safety issue. So if you like if you're just about to go flying, maybe you'll see like a wasp or something. They like to get right down in between the dashboard and the window and that little crack there. They like to go right down there and hide from you. And then they might do a whole trip just hanging out in that little crevice. But then on landing, they they kind of take off and start buzzing around. Or if you got passengers in the back or something, the passengers start freaking out. And that's not good to have everyone freaked out in the cockpit when you're landing a plane. I don't know if I've ever done that where people are really freaking out. Yeah, I've had one that I can think of for sure where someone was freaking out in the back seat, but luckily in the back seat they can just their hands can just kind of come forward a little bit. You can kind of, I don't know. They can't touch any of your controls. So if someone's freaking out in the back seat, it's not the end of the world. You like, oh well, try to calm them down, but fly the plane. And but yeah, if you got a wasp in the cockpit, this guy who was coming into land, and he was, we'll say, yeah, he was getting a little bit freaked out about this. And so he told the control tower, he's like, yeah, I got a wasp in the cockpit here, or just to let you know, I've got a, or I think he said a bee. Is like, yeah, I got a bee in the cockpit here. And then the person in the control tower said, check remarks, be careful. And he's flying the plane. He's like, afterwards, he was telling the story. He's like, be careful. He's like, I'm going to crash the plane. What's he joking around for? So that was pretty funny. But yeah, lots of funny stories in aviation. So that is very distracting. And well, Adam, I think you could use that because it's like, who's going to know, right? Someone sees you ballooning a landing. Oh, well, yeah, there was a wasp there. As soon as I shut down, it flew away. All right, that's a good one. I'll call that one number 6. Okay. Oh, here's something new. I've never heard this before. Wrench, thanks for contributing. Okay, once heard on the radio. That's an ASTO error. Avionics smarter than operator. I don't know. That could be used in some. Yeah. Some ways you could say that, I guess. Okay. All right, here we go. See, now Wrench is talking like a pilot here because he is. And why do people feel like they need an excuse? Be like an engineer and say, I made a mistake. It's a weird one there, Wrench. I've worked with all different types of people in many, many different jobs in many, many different industries. And I've run into all them again in aviation at the end of my working, the last little bit of working that I was doing. And so, yeah, it's a lot of people feel like they have to keep up appearances, or they have to, like I was teaching a couple guys, they quit learning how to fly, really rich, successful, hardworking business owners, and they just could not look bad. It's like there's something about that. It's like they just couldn't admit that they made a mistake or they weren't perfect. Or so I don't know if that comes from your parents beat you when you're a kid if you're not perfect and it just sticks with you, or something, or it could just be genetic. It's like people's brains, they end up wiring the way they wire up. So yeah, and people don't like looking bad, especially what was it? And then it can be a cultural thing too. Because I know, like in Asian cultures, you're not supposed to make anyone else look bad, whether it's China, Japan. I think South Korea might be like that too, where it's like it's all about saving face. And yeah, it could be a cultural thing, maybe. Okay. I'm pretty sure you're joking here, Shecky. Right. Anyways, all right. When am I going to play that guitar for you? I have a couple of very poorly done videos about my guitars here. And, I just can't really see. I'll leave that up there. Whenever I use my electric guitar, I think it takes a little bit. Like you'll see videos of people doing. There's lots of videos out there of people playing their own guitars, and what happens is with the microphone here and the StreamYard that I'm using, or even if I go live on YouTube, the volume difference is too much, and then it starts to auto correct the volume. It's like a gain kind of thing, like how sensitive the microphone is. It'll kind of automatically do that, so you don't blow your speakers that you're listening to me on. Yeah, so I'm not really gonna be playing any guitar, and plus I kind of suck right now. I mean, I play good enough for me, and then it's like if I'm jamming out to AC/DC here in the basement and the solo comes on, I just let Angus take it or Eddie Van Halen take it. Okay, you do that. You take the solo, Eddie. I'll just play rhythm. So anyways, so you probably don't want to hear me. Thanks for the interest anyways, Mr. None Your Business. Freebird, yes. That's cool. I have tried to play some Leonard Skinner, and it's weird because they got like what 3-4 different guitarists there, and to actually play it's kind of tricky. But I do do like that. All right, yeah. So yeah, Adam was saying that this I taught Adam how to fly actually, and we were flying in these two airplanes, TZY and RKQ. And he thought he's given a good excuse here that TZY or TZY, as our Americans like to say, was more loosey goosey than RKQ, and he'll take that one to the grave. Sounds like an excuse, dude. I don't know. They did fly slightly different, but I mean, you still got your license, so you can fly a lum around. All right. Oh yeah. So okay, Dustin's talking about you need a compressor and ideally an interface /DAW, digital audio something maybe. Yeah. So it's just like I don't know. Some people manage to do it. I know, like I've caught Ted Nugent doing like a live stream and just on his iPhone. Okay, boomer. And yeah, it's like his guitar is like all sound gets all wonky and stuff, and the volume's all weird. So it's kind of like that's what I would sound like Ted Nugent if I did it, and it doesn't sound that good. But Ted's great. I wish I would see him live or something like that. Yeah, and it's just a matter of how much money and time and effort you want to put into it. For me, it's not worth it. If I had like 100,000 subscribers and a staff of 3 here, it's like, oh yeah, what's wrong with the audio? I think I hear, we got to bring the treble down a little bit, but I'm just hanging out in my basement talking to a laptop, dude, with a $40 camera on it. So anyways, Right. True enough, Adam. Leave it to pilots to try and decipher an acronym. Yeah, I don't. What's this? We'll go back here. Yeah, lots of acronyms in aviation. That's for sure. And and that's part of my instructor brain too. Is that because if you're an instructor, everyone asks you, "What's that mean?" So you got to kind of have to know it. And so, yeah, I do like to know what acronyms are. It's got nothing to do with my OCD or nothing. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is interesting. That's the new St. James amps from Blackstar aren't terribly expensive and also interface with the computer. All right, that's food for thought. What is it? St. James? Never heard of that. I just have like a little orange crush amp down here. What do we got? St. James from Blackstar. Okay, something worth looking into if they're really cheap. Okay, here we go. What else we got here? Yep, thank you very much, sir. Okay, so that's about it for today, and we'll get that off there. But I'm looking really forward to this Friday show because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and if things work out correctly, okay, Friday the check my calendar here. 17th. Okay, so on the Friday the 17th here of November, I should be, if things work out, interviewing somebody here. And I kind of really enjoyed doing that before with Dr. David Perrodin, the safety doc, a little while back there. And, that's kind of what YouTubers do. They kind of interview each other and you try to steal audience from this and this and that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be interviewing on Friday. Doesn't really have anything to do with aviation, but we'll say he's in the literary world, and this dude's like a heavy hitter when it comes to the literary world. We'll put it that way. I'm just kind of teasing you. And then as it comes out, I'm gonna promote that one a little bit more on my Twitter page and stuff like that because I'm really excited to have this guy on. If it works out, when I get final confirmation on Friday. If it doesn't work out, I'll just wrap up the show early and order pizza or something. I don't know. But yeah, so it should be cool. Yeah, and Wrench, good point there. On site in the Chipmunk, I do plan on, now that I'm checked out in it, I can go, once I get access to the building, they have like a little swipe card I got to get. And I'm actually getting a flight suit for that because it's a museum, so they want you to wear a flight suit when you're flying. So and then, yeah, I'll probably be doing some videos from the Chipmunk. I'll hook up my GoPro and do a little something there. And yeah, but but this Friday, I don't know. I asked this guy if he wanted to come on my show, and he said yes. And I'm like, oh, cool, because I would like to do a little bit more interviews on here, like pilot interview stuff, sort of. That seems to work well. And I don't have to come up with a topic. So it's good for me. And I just let them do all the work. That's kind of like being a flight instructor. You should just let the student do all the flying. You just look out the window and get paid. So I think that's what an interviewer could do, is just like ask them a few questions, get them on a roll, and just, okay, show's done. Bye. Maybe. But yeah, looking forward to Friday. Keep that in your mind, this Friday at noon. Okay, excellent. And I see your comment there, Shaky, too. All right, cool. That is about it, folks. Oh, and you know what? I will bring this up here. Thanks, Super. Saw you all on the Scott show. Have a wonderful day. Okay, and that also, Shaky, it does have something to do with that guy indirectly. All right. On that note, I will. Yeah, I said I'm going to be back here Monday, Wednesday, Friday for sure at noon, and we'll just kind of shut her down. So thank you. Point. Thank you for watching. Bye.